Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Burning Wheel. Yeah, so this is the fourth session of actual play we'll be doing, not counting world burning. Yeah, this is going to be great. I am joined today for this session of Burning Wheel by everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, so we have a a situation in that Rasmus is cooking dinner, and so will sporadically mute and unmute so as to prove as little noise as possible while we sort this out. All right, so Gesundheit.
Don't mind me, I'm just dying a little.
Just a tiny insignificant bit of dying. No, we all need it every now and then. I think Nietzsche was on about that. But yeah, okay. So let's talk Burning Wheel. Last time we dealt with your wounded situation, which was a leftover from the time before that, when you had accidentally got beaten up trying to address an old enemy of yours, and in getting beaten up horribly, you now needed to kind of rest and deal with that, and you did. And you also successfully carried out some tasks you wanted to complete while you were dealing with this issue, among which was the prevention of anti-sorceress dissension within the ranks of your organization, and what else happened? You had a great interaction with a doctor, despite rolling the circles check to meet him and turning him into an enemy. Despite doing that, you did successfully convince him to help you and deal with your injuries. So you eventually, like three weeks down the line, came out on top. So your present situation, if I recall correctly, is that it's around about 6 days time until the tax collectors come a knocking, and until your maintenance cycle, and you're basically out of supplies. You barely have enough food to eat. Your coffers are empty. There's a shortage in the grain storage. And we find the lot of you in this situation. Is that correct? Does anyone have anything they want to add to the understanding of the present situation?
Nope. Well, I did do some magic.
It's true. Did you helped your boss heal faster by touching him with the hands so blessed?
I
Yes.
flew around town.
That's true. You flew around basically making yourself known everywhere, as well as you were able. All right. So let's talk characters. Let's talk beliefs. Let's look at what you guys are bringing to the table today. And as usual, we'll start at the top with Minnow. So Minnow, let's hear it for the beliefs you're bringing to the table today. What will Minnow be chasing?
Belief 1. Since I sort of prefer a roof over my head, I figure I should make the heist a huge success. This could also help with the standing in the little group.
Yeah. So you've crafted a belief where you used to have a belief about curing your brother's curse. You have postponed that belief in order to instead focus on safeguarding your current well-being and standing within the group. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, seems reasonable. So your intention here is, and I love that you want to make it a huge success. It's a great wording of what's going on. So you'll be going all out, facilitating the success of this criminal acquisition.
Yep.
Let's hear your second belief.
I still want to lay low, but my brother is showing off. I seriously need to stop the little brat before we get hurt.
I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, this is a belief that I imagine. Like, I call it intuition, but I foresee us seeing some interaction between the siblings on this front.
Yep.
That's gonna get exciting, I'm sure. Find out exactly how that goes down.
I imagine every time he turns into a bird to fly away, I'm gonna catch him in a net and say, "Nope, come here." And then just walk inside and put him inside a cage.
just walk around with like a huge ass fishing net.
Just
be like,
imagine
"Nope."
the second he flies off, just catch him. Nope.
None of your sorcerous ways.
Stop it.
All right, and your third belief?
I need to find out what happened to the product. So I need an alchemical kit.
Yeah, so this is
I need to
essentially...
eat, and Nico needs money to give me that.
Yeah. So this is essentially, as far as I can tell, it's essentially the same belief. You want to accomplish the same thing. You want to eventually find out what's up with this product, but you have you've chosen to break it down simply into, okay, first step on the road to finding out what this is actually acquiring this monstrously expensive alchemical kit that I actually need to properly work the alchemy of this situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't care how I get it, I just need it.
Yeah, sure. All right, cool. How about instincts? What are they looking like?
If I see Jijo getting into trouble, drop what I'm doing and go to his side.
Yeah?
If I see someone attractive, flirt. If surprised, throw a weapon.
So they're the same as always. These are all excellent instincts.
They make sense.
How about your traits?
They haven't changed yet. Base humility, spooky. Mark of privilege, gifted, obscure aura, and cool-headed.
Awesome. All right. Next in line is Nicholas. Let's hear it for your beliefs.
Sorry, mic was off. Belief 1. My organization is running low on supplies, and so I must restock the gang by any means. For money, I will take the recent shipment of Lylan cloth to sell for a profit. So I've replaced basically my Fate Farm belief from last session.
Yeah, so you've definitely... It has turned from being I kind of want stuff, and I kind of want this stuff too. I'm gonna get this now.
Yep. Belief 2 and 3 are the same, but here they are. Belief 2, introducing fairy dust to Rareham could set me up for life. I will build up my capital to achieve this. And belief 3, someone threatens the image of my product. I will kill them to ensure they and others never do so again. My instincts are all the same. Never offer mercy to an enemy. Everyone's out to get me, so trust no one. And always carry a sharp knife. Traits. Character traits are paranoid, odd, nihilistic, and callous. And one die trait, Louis Wu, may laugh in the face of danger. In that whenever danger confronts me, I will laugh impulsively, perhaps even slightly maniacally.
Indeed. Yeah, that's great.
I like that one.
I think it's
He makes everything
amusing.
sound so funny.
It's terrifying and horrible. It's worth a laugh.
Yeah.
Basically, he's Pinkie Pie, basically.
No.
Laugh at the face of danger.
Nikki Pie.
Nikki Pie.
No.
Okay.
If Nikki is anything like the aforementioned character from the aforementioned children's show, then this world is a lot more shitty than we realize.
Well, we only have you guys to change that, right? Whether directly or by rings in the water. All right, let's have a look at the third, but certainly the last but not least, Shihao. Let's hear it for your beliefs and instincts and traits.
Yes. First and foremost, I'm going to assume that Jihaoji is then Twilight Sparkle.
He isn't.
Why not?
Shihao is more Nightmare Moon than Twilight Sparkle.
I can go for that. As for my beliefs,
I'm
I'm
not sure I
looking at.
like that. That means Minnow is, yeah, Celestia. I don't want that.
I was just about to say, since I kind of want the roof over my head, I just went, wait, I don't think that's right.
Yep, nope, that's the wrong character sheet there.
We are twins, but not that twinsy.
Yeah, so my beliefs. It is my right to become a powerful sorcerer unlike anything the world has ever seen. Fame is one form of power, therefore I will establish a cult around my person in order to grant myself the first stepping stone into national fame. I will spread panic in this city and among its citizens, and everyone shall know and fear my name. You know, everyday beliefs.
This is a long-winded one, but it's pretty clear what you want to go for here. You want to spread horror and panic just so people will know who you are in order to eventually draw followers to you.
A noble goal, unlike any I've ever seen.
Clearly, the knights will sing songs of you.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
About how you ate princesses and kept dragons as pets they had to kill to get to the princess.
Exactly. My second belief, I've convinced Mr. Smolak to let us join his organization, but words are only words if not followed by action. As such, I will prove to Mr. Smolak that my brother and I are useful by personally making sure we're successful in acquiring the cloth he wants.
Well, I only have one thing about that belief.
Yeah?
That is show him. Actually, it was Smolak convincing your brother to say, okay, I'm bored.
Yep.
Do you have food? Yep. Do you have a roof? Yep, I'm bored. What?
It's pretty good that, because this is, of course, this belief has changed a bit, but it's interesting that, we can see the motivation remain the same, right? The point is, you want brownie points, you want to be recognized so that you have, a place to be within the organization. And you just change the method with which you're going to go about this. And it's a good idea, because it definitely seems like that this is the direction you're taking, right? You want to go for the shipment.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for your third belief.
For my third belief, nothing much has changed. The knowledge of old holds power untold. I will seek it out whenever I get the chance.
Yeah. Alright. And how about your instincts and traits?
Instincts are still the same. I'll check if I'm dreaming, if weird stuff happens. I'll respond to threats with intimidation. And when I need advice, I'll ask my brother. And the traits are also the same: base humility, spooky, obsessed, catamite, mark of privilege, aura of fear, or gifted.
Cool.
And gifted.
Excellent. Alright. So yeah, we know where you guys are at this moment. It's been 3 weeks and 4 days since last we followed you. Things have happened in that time. You have put some practice towards different tests, some of you.
Yes.
AJ, you've been practicing, Minomir has been practicing his alchemy. And Shihao, you've been practicing 3 things, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been working towards unlocking 3 new things or something. What exactly has been going on with that?
You just have to stir this and I'll give you an answer. Where that's not this part of the character sheet. Over here. I've practiced towards Manning Bridge wise.
Yeah.
Perception and observation.
Alright, cool.
Because my perception stat is not high enough. It needs to be higher.
Okay. I might argue actually for changing, I don't know yet, but I might argue for changing Manning Bridge wise to just city wise, because I know that exists.
I mean, that's up to you.
I don't know.
I assume that city wise would apply to other cities as well.
Yeah, it would. So yeah, we'll find out about that. Yeah, go on.
If he could find someone who had the same skill he wants, would it be any easier?
You mean if you can get someone to instruct you? Yeah, it
Because Inno does have observation.
you have the option to be instructed in certain skills instead of just trying to learn them on your own. This somehow changes like the process of practice. Some skills require instruction in order to take the first steps. Some skills are just fine being what they are. I believe to have like your first step on any path to any sorcerer skills, you need instruction. But we'll find out about that once or if it becomes relevant.
Do you know why I know I have that?
Observation?
Because there's a little fairy who's actually put my stuff into alphabetical order.
Hey, listen, hey! Hey!
Shut up, Navi!
That is so you, Daniel.
Shut up and listen to my material. All right, so let's get into some Burning Wheel. So as we mentioned, it's been 3 weeks and 4 days, and as we return to the world, as we return to specifically to the world and to Manning Bridge, one of the great cities in the north, or the northern provinces of Eriastor. We don't follow you immediately. Instead, we see two separate locations in like separate shots where we cut back and forth between two locations. One of the locations is like made for like somewhat simple, like plank wood floor, simple plank walls. Boxes and barrels have been stacked in a corner. There's a bookshelf. The entire room is lit with like a single candle placed on sort of simply cut desk. And on this desk, we see a piece of fine paper that doesn't really match the room, like a piece of stationery. Hello.
I'm just surprised about the stationery. Continue.
So a piece of stationery, and we see like a hand, an older, somewhat calloused hand, holding a pen, dipping it in ink, and then tracing letters along the paper. And we cut to the other location, which is way nicer and way more luxurious. We're not talking like extreme, exuberant luxury, but like a very nice, very warm feeling setting. A lot of like plush furniture, very warm, very rich looking. Where we see a slender, more feminine hand, similarly draft letters on a piece of stationery. And we like cut back and forth between them. We see like a few words, but nothing particularly revealing between like on either of the letters. The only thing we eventually wind up seeing as like the cameras pan back and forth, showing the rooms and showing the people writing from different angles, yet never really revealing who are we looking at, is that we see them sign their names on the pieces of paper. We see the older calloused hand sign the name Gray, and then fold the paper up. We see the younger feminine hand sign the name Locke, and then fold the letter up. And we see both of them like in a cross view, dip both hands like dip lacquer onto the paper and then close them, stamp them shut. One with like some kind of sigil, and the other just with basically like a wooden stamp handle. Just bump. There's no particular symbol of anything. It's basically just being held shut. And at that point, we cut to black, and when we fade back in, we're fading back in on a breakfast table that's just been cleared after a very measly breakfast. Deep orange morning light is glowing through the shutters of your headquarters, and you lots we find sitting around the breakfast table. This has been a very uninspired breakfast. You know there is only a few days left to go before before it's time to attend your accounts, and you're essentially fresh out of everything. So we find you around the table. What do you do?
I eat.
We've finished eating, that's the point. What do we... How much of the 3 weeks have we been mentioning and planning for the upcoming raid or theft?
So I'm thinking you can have spend as much or as little time as you want of these 3 weeks, like talking it out about like what do you want to do and when do you want to do it. One of the things I got from you last session was you kind of wanted to get some information on what was up with the cloth shipment, so you sent Evelyn out to check it out. And I think she's due to kind of like bring back the information today and lay the situation on you.
That's good. We can't really... In that case, Nicky's not inclined to move until he's more aware of the situation. But stuff does need doing.
Yeah.
In the meantime, then I'm going to ask my two newest employees if there's been any progress with their tasks. Apparently not.
The rip-roaring silence. So yeah, so Nikki's looking to you guys. What do you say?
I think Jihauji is staring absent-mindedly into the air. Clearly didn't hear Nikki.
Nicky waves a hand in front of his face in a way that could be construed as patronizing.
That, you know what? I think as he does that, Jihauji catches his hand, holds it for a little while he counts his fingers, and then lets go and gives you his attention.
No, we'll comment on the strange behaviour from Nicky, but he asks again, how have your assignments been going?
Yeah, you should talk to Minami about that.
Nicky rolls his eyes. He rolls his eyes.
Minnow looks like, the fuck should I know what you've been doing? He really gives him that look. Well, what the hell?
So yeah, you're being told to just ask the other one. What do you do, Nikki?
Minnow doesn't let him say anything. He just goes, I apologize for him. I think it's that time of the month. Anyway, I've been trying to find out something about the alchemical components, and it's nearly impossible without the kit.
We can't get you the kit without the resources. Can't get the resources until we make the raid.
Couldn't you just steal one?
It's more trouble than it's worth.
If you say so. I've been learning the lay of the city.
Good.
I'm not quite done, of course, but I should be less helpless.
I don't feel like I've quite unlocked the skill yet, but I'm getting there. It's
Yes, I look at you and just say, if there's any word that comes to mind when I first think of you and what you can do, helpless is not on there. I'm not sure you fully understand what that word actually means.
I think Jihauji smiles, a broad smile, and leans forward. And that's very kind of you.
Oh, there must be something wrong with me then.
Clearly.
I have no idea how helpless he can be if he's really trying.
That earns you an aside glance. Not a bad one, just one that's like, oh, okay.
It's just like, yeah, you have no idea how bratty he can be if he's really trying.
Give me a second. I'm just going to quickly switch off my microphone so I can cough violently.
Cough away violently then.
I've mostly been mapping the city from above, but I've also ventured into the streets of the locations I couldn't make out clearly.
Yeah, so I think this is not news to any of you. I think both you, Nikki, and Minnow, you're both aware that he has been doing this, not because he's necessarily been telling you, I'll leave that in the capable hands of Rasmus, but you will have heard it from other parties. Essentially, I've heard people talk about the Raven person, like, who transforms. Like, people are whispering about that every now and again, like, from here and there, and like, just this person who's been going around and making a show of his sorcerer's ways. And it has people a little bit on edge that he's been doing this. Like, some people have different reactions, but it is definitely more frequent that you're hearing people refer to this as a sign of evil than a sign of anything else.
And basically the ones who's been close enough to actually see who it is also terrified beyond belief. So yeah.
Yep.
Minnow just sends you a look of a dad who's very, very disappointed. But he should be very used to that look from the real dad by now.
I think he's so used to it, it doesn't even register anymore.
This is how family looks.
This is how family looks at me.
So, Mr. Smolak, how about this shipment of cloth?
Yeah, rumors here and there. Evelyn's been very good at searching out information regarding the shipment. I don't want to make a move until we have more of an understanding of what's going to be happening. So once she's back, if she's back, with the info we need, we move from there.
I mean, that's definitely, if I've ever heard it, the cue for Evelyn to enter the room, right? So yeah, you finish saying that, and the door creaks open, and Evelyn steps in. She throws it shut, and kind of clears the room and sits down next to you.
Perfect timing. What do you have for me, Evelyn?
Well, I have a bloody lot. So, it took a pretty decent while, I want to say, to kind of dig up anything about this asshole. Apparently, someone wants to keep the security on this pretty tight. It's not that easy to find information about, but I did my best, and I got something to show for it. So she basically starts, like, she leans back, she cracks her shoulders a bit, stretches, and then she kind of looks to you as if to ask if she should tell you this in the presence of the peasants, or if you want to be told on your own. I don't actually think she looks at you as if to say that. She just says it flat out.
Mm-hmm. That's not. Hold on. No. We should keep our new friends informed. They're going to be helping us do a lot of the legwork.
If you haven't heard, miss, your boss is trying to foster a sense of unity and trust.
Oh, aye. I've heard that. Still, I trust what I can see with my own eyes. And until the two of you start carrying your weight, you're on probation as far as I'm concerned, sweetie. I mean, it's all very, very impressive how you can eat our food and drink our wine, but, you know, we're in a different sort of business here.
Jiao shrugs and says, well, you don't use a sword to cut wood, do you? Just point me in the direction and I shall kill someone for you.
She flashes you, like, there's a tight-lipped grin, but there's a grin when you say that. Because that is definitely the right thing, like the right words to get her mood up. But yeah, she like seems to like accept the ending of this little joust, and looks to Nikki. says, okay, so the reason this has been kept on the hush-hush is because the security down there is pretty skilled, but fairly sparse. Apparently some guy from, I mean, he's a local, but he's apparently he travels a lot. A guy by the name of Silas Joy. Guy's been doing some importing, exporting, traveling, and this shipment apparently is an effort to sustain his failing business. She smiles. So you can't really afford as much security as would be ideal, which is pretty ideal if I do say so myself.
Indeed.
So she continues to mention stuff like that as far as she's been able to tell, there's around half a dozen or so guards in total keeping watch over the shipment. But while she's saying this, we take the camera pans to Minomir, who immediately recognizes the name Silas Joy as the person who believes he is the father of your son.
But he doesn't know he has a son.
Oh, he is. Oh, you're talking about Minnow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're quite aware that this is a man you've cuckolded.
I know the last name because his wife's last name is the same. You're saying?
Yeah, I mean there are probably other Joys out there. There are maybe even other Silas Joys. But the amount of traveling merchants who have been to Lylan and back again, who are by the name of Silas Joy, I mean there might be more than one, but it seems too perfect a coincidence.
In that case, the only thing Minnow mentions is like, oh, he has a pretty wife.
Yeah, I think Evelyn looks at you. How did you know that? Anyway, yeah, so Guy's got a wife and a kid, and apparently he's making like a scramble to stay afloat, so that the sweet little mama and sweet little kiddo don't wind up at the poor farm. But lucky us, bastard skimmed on security.
I mean, we should help the poor man get some rest. I've heard drowning can be so peaceful.
I've heard something similar. However, I don't know how you intend to do this. Our guys are not killers. She says with a bit of disdain on her face as she looks at you, Nikki, as if she blames you for that fact. Our people are not killers per se. We're smugglers.
True.
Again, she totally blames you, right? This is not a statement she's proud of. But she also she looks at you and she continues, like she finishes what she was gonna say and basically says she shrugs and says, whatever we have to do it soon. Or as I've heard word, shipment's about to go out to some buyers tonight. Now, once they leave his hands and get into more capable hands, it's going to be a whole lot of business getting rid of them. Did I say get rid of them? It's going to be a whole lot of business acquiring them.
Yeah.
Well, then we'd better make a move on it, hadn't we? You're right. Most of our lads are smugglers, not fighters, and, well, what can I say? Smugglers attract smugglers, scum attracts scum. That being said, between yourself and our two new companions, and a bit of sneaky, we might be able to make an advantage out of disadvantage.
We might, but we're going to need some transport. There's quite a few boxes there, unless you just want us to carry one each.
Right.
If you can find a cart, the Strider can carry a lot.
The Strider? You mean your goat?
Yep. You've seen the size of him. He's been carrying the old man. And a lot more shit.
Any ideas on where we could acquire a cart fit to be pulled by a strider/goat, Evelyn?
Evelyn leans, she pushes a chair off the two front legs and puts her feet on the table and shrugs, melodramatically. It's like, I have no idea.
Jihauji speaks up and says, "Why don't you just rob the refugees?"
Which ones? There are many.
The ones from the Stormlands. That's where the Striders are from. We use them to carry our, everything through the swamps.
You'd be okay with that, would you?
He shrugs. It's quite clear he doesn't give any fucks.
That would actually be kind of nice, and if we can get a female, we could get more of them without having to go back.
More striders.
Ah, you could
They're
start a pet
smaller
store.
than your regular horse, but they're more agile and stronger.
I don't know. More striders, and even if it means more work power, means more mouths to feed.
I'm not running a fucking ranch here.
I'm not saying you are. But that's actually a pretty good idea.
All
That
right.
got them already made for the Striders, so they are good and solid.
All right then. It's a start.
You
get
should be aware, though, that Stormlanders are quite a bit more used to fighting for their lives.
Yep.
What, you mean Outlanders?
Well, specifically I mean the First Folk, but I suppose you have your own names for things.
I think she just she spits and looks somewhere else.
He looks. Nikki looks very seriously at Jihauji and Minamir. Can you guarantee that we can get a cart without too much trouble by the end of the day, if we do take your method?
That would depend on the approach, I think. If we wade in and take it, I think we should expect resistance. If we sneak it out, maybe less.
Then that's the option we're going to have to go with, isn't it? Need to save up our strength for the fight against the actual forces holding the cloth.
Are we saving up our strength so as not to bruise the noses of a couple of emaciated fucking refugees now?
Emaciated fucking refugees they may be, but from what I gather, they are fighters, and people who are desperate will fight that much harder. Believe you me, we know that, don't we?
I think she shakes her head. She looks at you and says, "Are you fucking backing down from a fight with Outlanders?"
We get the cloth, we get the money, you can go out and fight as many fucking Outlanders as you want. But right now, we've got to be practical.
Yeah, so she scoffs, I think, crosses her arms and sulks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jihauji leans closer to her and says, "Have you ever met a monster? And I'm not talking someone unpleasant, I'm talking an actual monster."
I grew up all my life in this piece of shit, she says, gesturing to Pike Market as a whole. And
So that's no.
met plenty of monsters.
I'm not talking metaphorically. I'm talking trees uprooting themselves and eating you, or worms the size of a house burrowing through the ground and bursting up beneath you.
No, if you're asking me if I've ever met a fairy tale, then no, my friend, I haven't.
He smiles and says, "You should try living near the storm."
Meanwhile, the sound of the local city ambulance streaming past.
Suddenly the door bursts in and the guards rush you.
Please don't.
Minnow just smirks very calmly as he says that to her, yeah.
Yeah, so you say
That's so cute. She's just a little baby.
so you say that to her, and as you say that, she can't hide her smile. Right? She smiles at you indignantly, because as far as she's concerned, you're essentially asking her to believe in fairy tales and be like, yeah, so we've totally seen monsters and ends and horribleness. and she's not buying it for half a second, right? So she just smiles at you patronizingly. I'm sure you have love, but in the real world, we have to work for our dinner.
He shrugs and says,
The fairy fucking godmother doesn't just bring it here.
Yahoo shrugs and says, believe what you want. You can only prepare for that which you believe in.
Speaking of monsters, he looks directly at his brother. If we throw you in first, there's actually a chance they'll just leave their cot and run off screaming.
That's a good point. I'd be up for that.
Well, let's get to it then. We haven't got too much longer before the day's out. Well, we've only got the day before the shipment moves, so anything we can do now will be fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, so what do you want to
Onwards! Yeah, we want to go and nick a cart.
Okay. So, as I've understood it, you're gonna go and find a cluster of refugees that you can attempt to steal from. I'm not gonna ask you to roll circles for that specifically, basically because finding a group of refugees in the city is not gonna be that hard. They congregate in certain places. So I think I'm just gonna bring you into the map for a moment. So this is a for you viewing audience, this is me doing like an attempt at a map of Manning Bridge. So we're basically like around here, right, in Pike Market. This is where
There.
this what did you say, AJ?
I couldn't see it, but I found Pike Market.
Right, so like in the cluster of buildings down by Pike Market, that is where somewhere in there in that tangle is where the group is presently have their headquarters. I should say, just for clarification for you lots, that every gray blob is not necessarily a building, but might just as easily be a cluster of buildings like compacted together. This is the case for
very big buildings.
yeah, this is the case for the most of them, and then there are some really large buildings. You can kind of make out which are supposed to be buildings and which are not, and it doesn't really matter. We'll find out as we go. So you guys want to go out and find some refugees. Easy peasy. There are a lot of refugees north of the bridge, up by Light Point, up in beyond Tollgate, and in the city, the refugees congregate in Pike Market and in Greywater mostly.
What we need specifically is some that actually have a cart made for a strider.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they have the strider or killed it to eat it, as long as they still have the cart.
Yeah.
I somehow found it doubtful that they would have killed, considering they've considered it a member of the family. It's like, oh well, let's kill mother and eat her.
But then again, if you're hungry enough, you eat your wife on a fucking mountain because you're freezing to death and you're dying.
That is true.
If you're hungry enough, you eat anything.
So I imagine you walk out of the headquarters. You make about the streets for a while, and you know, like the streets of Pike Market are essentially like a tangle of some places that can be discerned as being actual streets, and then just a bajillion alleyways and places where buildings haven't been built exactly close enough together, so there's like tiny gaps between buildings, and the whole thing is like overhung with clotheslines, with a cloth of varying sizes and shapes and colors hanging on it, sometimes forming like almost like a completely formed roof above you sometimes when you walk, and sometimes it's just, you know, like a tangle with light breaking through it everywhere. The whole place, of course, smells wonderfully complicated, I want to say. Smells of fish and smells of desperation.
The nice smell of desperation in the morning.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
yeah, you make it to like one of the open areas between buildings where they host like there are plazas essentially. I mean, it's the wrong word to use the word plaza, I think, but there are openings in which people congregate. Usually to put up vendor stalls or to like to have plays or to have fights or duels. And sometimes, to meet in groups and converse about stuff outside of the forums. And in such a place, you spot. It's been a very short while since you left your headquarters, and you spot a group of obvious refugees from the Outlands or from the Stormlands, if you will. Recognizable by their garb, which is very similar to like the waxed leathers and oilcloth of Shihao and Minomir. And one of them indeed is sitting on a wagon with a strider languishing. It's still tied up to the wagon, but it's basically just standing there chilling.
So it's chillaxing.
Yeah, it seems to have been here long enough that that the hustle and bustle of the city around it is no longer cause for immediate nervousness.
How many followed us out here?
I don't know. Is it more? Are there any more than just Shihao, Minnow, and Nikki?
We don't actually need more, I just needed to know.
I'm just asking.
Okay, then how do we go about this?
I mean, what's the answer here? I
Did
mean,
Evelyn?
Nikki, you're probably the one who asked the answer to this question, if anyone.
Probably. Try and play it subtle. Try and get them away. You try and get them away from Try and get them away from it without it causing a fuss, and then just take it away.
Yeah, but how many are you? Is it just the three of you, or are there any more?
It's just the three of us.
Okay.
Well,
We did bring Evelyn.
Mm,
the most efficient way to do this would be having my flashy brother here scare the shit out of them so they run away or faint, and then you can make off with the cart.
Well,
With
be
the
ready
ghost.
be ready to untie the strider then. Or take it with you if it wants. I doubt it though.
It's easier to
That's my
take it with
approach.
us.
You'll have to calm it then, once I approach.
Sure.
okay.
Are you ready?
Always. I'm kinda used to fixing the shit when happens when you scare the shit out of people.
Georgie looks at Nikki. To figure out if he's also ready.
Okay, yep, we're ready to go.
All right. So what's the plan?
So Georgie approaches the refugees.
Yeah.
I think he stops before he gets into range of scaring them witless.
Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty crowded place, so as you move forward, people around you react. You have like a visible rippling effect in the crowd as you move.
In that case, do the refugees notice?
Yeah, some of them definitely do.
And I forget, did the Stormlanders have their own language?
You have a dialect that is
Oh,
It is-
wait,
it
they
is
have
as,
the first tongue,
what?
but it's ancient. They
Yeah,
have
it's-
something
you
called...
have you have like a the old original language of yours is as Norwegian is to Danish.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of difference in these languages, yeah. But in essence, you have like you use words from that language, but most of what is going on with you guys is just dialected, a dialected version of the same.
I'll just address them
language.
in common or whatever we call it then.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's
So they notice people fleeing from me.
Yeah, I mean, some people move away screaming. Some people
Some
fall
are
down.
paralyzed.
Most people just, take cautious steps away, and they freeze with terror for a moment, just stock still, like rodents in front of a serpent. And then when they regain their senses, they back away from you because you're unsettling as all holy fuck.
In that case, as I approach them, I lock eyes with one of them. Don't really care who it is.
Yeah, so you lock eyes with one of them as you approach. You probably lock eyes
not-
with one of them has been sitting on, like, not the one sitting with the reins to the cart, but one of them has been sitting on the cart. And as you like move
I
towards
wanted
them,
to do more than just that.
go on.
Or you start describing that is.
Yeah, go on.
So as I approach them, I lock eyes with one of them, and I say loudly enough that I know he can hear me. The storm destroys anything that doesn't change. I am the storm, and I suggest you change your location.
Okay. So
And then I approach.
you approach and you speak these words to them. You definitely have some of them have noticed you, right, and you have their undivided attention presently. Some of them are just chilling and doing other stuff. Some of them are like a couple of old women are sitting knitting, or mending broken clothes. Some of them are doing entirely different, like monotonous, mundane stuff. But some of the ones who've noticed you, like, move warily as you approach. And one of them has been jumps down from the cart with a spear, and kind of like moves as if to intercept you. And as you say that, the person looks up, and on his face, he's wearing a tattoo.
Okay.
And it is a tattoo of your tribe.
Oh.
And
Lovely.
as you say that, he lowers his spear point, not directly towards you, but he's pushing it forward a bit, like nearing it the height of your head, although you're still like a good solid few steps apart. And he says to you, he says, "Who are you? You look familiar."
I give him my evilest grin and I say, I am Jiao Jikachka, and I need your cart.
Yeah, so he recognizes the name immediately. I don't know, did you have like a solid enough rapport with your fellow tribesmen that you would know them by name and like identify them immediately as you saw them?
No.
Okay.
Well, he wouldn't, but Minnow would.
Yeah. That's how I saw it as well.
He were the boy who always only interested himself around the fucking magic, and that is why no one liked him. That is also why he's better, of course. Consequently, if you practice more, you get better, right? And Minnow were the dutiful son because he were born first. So he were kind of positioned as being the next one in line.
Yeah.
But I changed that.
And then he changed everything by fucking everything up. so Minnow would know them.
Yeah, so you would know them, and I'm assuming that you're moving closer with your brother.
Yep,
All right.
he's walking
Oh,
right
you are?
beside him.
So you see, like the person who's standing there, you recognize him as Blasesh. He's a hunter, used to be a hunter, and by extension, he's also a warrior. And he's basically right now he has eyes for the person who's identified himself, and who has caused the ripples in the water. So you speak your words, Rasmus, and he sneers when you mention your name. He's like, "Ah, you run away, little kitten. Now here you are. We find you hiding here. Why do you return? You need our cart. You need much more than that, young one. Come, your father would be most anxious to meet you."
I raise my eyebrow and I do like a shoe kind of motion and say, "Move or be destroyed."
Yeah, so you say that, and his immediate reaction is to accept the challenge. Unless you want, like,
And
are you?
Minnow,
Do you want
Minnow,
to scare him off? Sorry. Yeah. Let's take Minnow first before
I imagine the second he says move or be destroyed, Minnow makes the, but he's a fucking warrior, don't you recognize? Oh, fuck.
So you say move or be destroyed. Are you? Do you in fact like want to make him get out of the way and surrender
That was a
the
threat.
card?
That was a threat. I did the shoo away motion because I want him to go away.
Yeah. So
I want to scare him away.
okay. In that case, let's see if you can manage that. We'll have you try and scare him away, and then we'll return after you make the attempt. So you're trying to scare him off by threatening to destroy him. Give me an intimidation check.
I don't have that skill, so what do I do?
All right, then you roll your will, because it's intimidation is based off will. So you just roll will versus an obstacle of his willpower, of his will, which is 4, and because you don't have the skill for it, but you're using the stat, the obstacle is doubled, so you need to roll obstacle 8.
Alright, I don't.
I don't know why I told you this. I shouldn't have told you right now. But yeah, give me an intimidation check. If you succeed, of course, you get your intent, which I assume is to drive him off because he's frightened. He takes your threat very seriously, and he believes you can destroy him immediately, and that frightens him, so he backs off. And if you fail, he is not affected by your threats. But not only that, if you do so, he will call some of his brothers behind him to come and to drag you before your father.
Seeing as this is intimidation and this is my clan, and they would know that I have the storm in my blood from my mother.
Yeah.
Do I get any bonuses from that?
I will say you would get an advantage die for being basically for your lineage. You would also, I think, you would also take an disadvantage. So I think we up the obstacle by 1 because you take advantage for your lineage, but you have disadvantage for being a weak little boy in their eyes, right? You were never an accomplished hunter. You were never really a man, and you left before you could become a man, so to speak. Then what they hear of you is that you've broken some tradition and run off to the south, the warm, plush, cuddly south.
Well, I only left recently when the war became too much, but sure.
Exactly. So to them, you're not really like they don't see you and see a man.
Okay, so I get +1 for modifiers, right?
Yeah, you get +1 die to your will.
And I have these resources I can use, I guess. How is this works? I could use persona. That gives me 1 more die, right?
Yep.
Question.
Do I want to? Yeah?
Why doesn't he just get close enough and look him in the eye so he pees his pants and runs off?
Because how he knows that hesitation can give him long enough time to finish casting a spell.
Ah.
And Fate I could use afterwards, right?
Yeah, you can use Fate to explode the 6s.
In that case, I would like to spend a persona point on this roll.
Okay. So you're rolling against obstacle 9.
Shit.
So test your will.
+2, 1 for persona, 1 from heritage.
When it asks you for modifiers, add 1 for your advantage, and then it asks you for Arthur, add 1 there.
Oh, okay. Base obstacle 9.
Yep.
I only get 2 successes.
Ah, yeah, wow.
All right.
And no 6s, so I can't explode those.
All right. Mark a challenging will test.
Yes. Well, 1 challenging. Is that right? Oh, I can only have difficult and challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
And I mark a persona point too?
Yeah, mark a persona in your will.
That is why you wanted to use it. You want Grey Will.
Actually, I just wanted to use it because I want to unlock intimidation at some point.
Oh.
Yeah, let's actually, that's a good point. You get, I think, at least there's something to be learned here. Either you get this as a test towards increasing your will, or you get it as your first attempt to unlock intimidation.
Do I choose, or is it one or the other? You just don't remember.
I think you choose, but let me just quickly check this because there is like I think there's if the obstacle is so and so high, then it'll add as a test towards your ability instead.
Ah.
I think that is the rule. I'm just gonna quickly check if that's the case.
I like Tiao. He thinks he's all that, but he's really not.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I wonder what they think happened to Minnow.
I abducted you by filling your heads with all sorts of weird lies and shit, I guess. That would be my guess.
Well, the last thing Minnow were told by the father before they went to the wizarding thingies were to watch out for you. You know, take care of your brother, he's little and weak.
I kind of wanted to have been watch out for Jihaoji being meant as be careful around him, but you interpreted it as be take care of him.
Take care of him because he's little and weak? Yeah. That is totally what his dad says. Watch out for Jihaoji.
He's weird.
But he never said he's weird, just watch out for him.
Yeah.
And Minnow thought it meant take care of him because he's little and weak, but what he actually meant was watch out, he's gonna get you into fucking trouble and kill you. Totally, that's what happened.
So yeah, we've I'm gonna check this while we let's take a break, and I'll check the book for this thing we're looking for about what you're advancing. And when we come back, we'll address the development of this situation.
In that case, I'll pack away the dinner I just made.
Right. So we'll be right back with more Burning Wheel. So yeah, right after the break. Meantime, don't go anywhere. Bye.